Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on storytelling itself. We're going to trace this invisible thread that connects some of your favorite movies all the way back to a single poem written almost 1,000 years ago. And it all starts with a simple question. So, what could a Disney classic like The Lion King, a gritty crime saga like The Godfather, and some ancient Persian epic possibly share? I mean, on the surface, they're worlds apart, right? A lion cub, a mob boss, a medieval king. But what if I told you they're all secretly telling the exact same story? A deep, universal one that gets at something really fundamental about what it means to be human. You know, the incredible mythologist Joseph Campbell, he dedicated his entire life to studying the world's myths, and what he found was just mind-blowing. He realized that underneath all the different gods, monsters, and cultural window dressing, there was one single master story. It's an idea that's perfectly summed up in the ancient Vedas. Truth is one. The sages speak of it by many names. Campbell gave this master formula a name, the monomyth. But you probably know it by its more famous title, The Hero's Journey. Think of it like a blueprint for transformation, a kind of psychological map that shows a hero venturing out, facing incredible trials, winning some kind of victory, and then coming home, but changed. And once you see it, you start to see it absolutely everywhere.
And what's really wild is how this ancient pattern is a perfect match for the way we tell stories today. Campbell broke it down into 3 big stages: departure, initiation, and return. Well, modern screenwriters use the exact same psychological framework. A character starts in a state of disunity, their whole worldview gets shattered through a process of deconstruction, and then finally, they find a new, stronger unity. It's the same journey, just with new names.
Okay, so let's see how this actually works. And we're going to use a hero who is, well, probably not who you'd expect. He's not from some big Hollywood blockbuster, he's from a 12th century Persian epic. And he is a textbook example of a hero stuck in that first stage, disunity.
Meet King Bahram. By all accounts, a great king. Strong, powerful, totally capable. But when we join his story, he's kind of lost the plot. He's disconnected, not just from his kingdom, but from himself. In today's screenwriting lingo, we'd say he's in a state of deep inner conflict, this disunity. And that internal chaos is starting to cause a major mess in the outside world.
And you can see the results right here. While Bahram is off hunting and just, enjoying his life, his entire kingdom is falling apart. A corrupt minister grabs power, the treasury is bone dry, and his enemies are literally at the gates. His personal disunity isn't just a feeling, it's a full-blown national crisis. This is a hero who is in desperate need of a wake-up call.
Now, every hero needs that call to adventure, and for Bahram, it comes from a really unique place. He gets guided onto the path of deconstruction, which is just a fancy way of saying his old, flawed self is about to get broken down, and his guides are 7 princesses from 7 different lands.
This whole section is Bahram's initiation. See, to honor his new wives, he builds this incredible palace with 7 domes, each one a different color, each tied to a planet and a day of the week. Every day he visits a princess in her dome, and she tells him a story. And let me tell you, these are not your average bedtime stories. Each one is a precision-engineered lesson meant to challenge his ego and deconstruct his entire worldview.
So you can think of these princesses as his mentors, or as the source material so beautifully puts it, as midwives for his moral and spiritual birth. They are methodically leading him through a series of psychological trials, and with every story he hears, another piece of his old, selfish, distracted self gets chipped away, making space for actual wisdom to take root. This, right here, is the heart of the hero's journey.
All of this deconstruction, this breaking down, it all builds towards something. It leads to the great reward, the ultimate boon that Bahram earns on his journey. After facing all his flaws, he's given this profound insight, a kind of cosmic secret, that finally brings him to that state of unity. And this is the secret he learns: discordia concours. It translates to harmonious discord. It's this beautiful idea that true harmony doesn't come from getting rid of all the messy, conflicting parts of life. No, it comes from balancing those opposing forces. Kind of like how the planets are held in this perfect, elegant dance between gravity pulling them in and momentum flinging them out. He learns that the soul works the same way. And this reveals just how deep his transformation goes. He isn't just learning to be a better king or a better manager. He's tapping into a kind of wisdom that goes way beyond spreadsheets and logic. He learns to harmonize the masculine and feminine parts of himself, to balance his desire for pleasure with his sense of duty. He learns to see the world not as a bunch of separate, warring pieces, but as one single, complex, beautiful piece of music. He has finally achieved unity.
So, Bahram returns to his people a wise and just ruler, a hero, reborn. But his story? Oh, it doesn't end there. In fact, his journey has been echoing through our culture ever since, bouncing from the 12th century right onto the screens we're streaming tonight. For more than 900 years, this one fundamental pattern, this arc of transformation, has been the engine inside our most powerful and compelling stories. The source material calls it a form of perennial philosophy, a timeless truth about being human that we just can't stop telling ourselves over and over again.
And you can literally trace the breadcrumbs. It starts with Nezami's poem back in the 12th century, which then directly inspired parts of Puccini's famous opera Turandot. Then, in 1949, Joseph Campbell comes along and puts a name to this pattern he's seeing in myths from all over the world. And from there, it filters right into the heart of modern Hollywood, where it's the foundation of what we call the protagonist journey.
Let's just make this super concrete for a second. Look at King Bahram next to Michael Corleone. Both start out in a state of disunity, right? Bahram is distracted by pleasure. Michael wants nothing to do with the family business. Both are then forced onto a path of deconstruction. Bahram through his 7 storytelling princesses, Michael through the brutal murder of his wife and brother. And both return completely transformed to rule their respective kingdoms. It is the exact same psychological map, just separated by 900 years. It's crazy.
So the big question is, why? Why does this one story have such an incredible, powerful hold on us, across every culture, across every time period? Well, Campbell had a theory. He said it's because the journey isn't really about slaying some monster out there in the world. The real dragon we have to face is inside us. The hero's journey, whether it's for King Bahram or Luke Skywalker or Simba, is ultimately an inward journey. It's a giant metaphor for our own lives. It's basically a roadmap for our own growth, showing us how to move from our own personal states of disunity and confusion towards a more whole, integrated, and unified version of ourselves.
It's a pretty amazing thought, isn't it? That all these stories we love so much, they aren't just entertainment. They might actually be essential survival guides passed down for centuries to help us navigate our own lives. So the next time you press play on a movie or open a book, look for that hero's echo. Look for that journey from disunity to unity. And maybe ask yourself, what part of that journey are you on right now?